ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Okay, so, Eileen. First of all, I was very excited about Eileen because I absolutely loved the film Lady Macbeth, which, by the way, doesn't really have anything to do with Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth. But Lady Macbeth is the very first film by the director, William Oldroyd, of Eileen. Lady Macbeth is excellent. Came out in 2017. It's an excellent film. Very simple, very subtle, very beautifully made, beautifully shot. Excellent, excellent, excellent film. I told a lot of people to see it, and I ranked it the film to see in 2017 when I did a top like 15. Okay, and I've been really like anticipating this one. I was like, oh, it's him. He's back. He's making his next movie, and it had a really great trailer, Eileen. And I was thinking, this is gonna be another one of those kind of light in the dark in a way, like the Needle in the Haystack, that movie that few people will see, but it'll be absolutely terrific. So that's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing I want to say is, leaving the cinema, I was actually really disappointed. Really disappointed. And there was so much good in it. And some of it was so well directed in the same kind of way as Lady Macbeth. Like, very controlled. Very, very, like, egoless. You know, nothing flashy. Everything just, like, where it should be. And yet it felt kind of like half a film. And it also felt like there were some things that were disjointed. So, for example, it begins with 1970s almost style TV movie intro credits, which look fantastic. They're beautiful. Everything has that soft, warm glow to the font to really kind of ease you into a certain kind of tone, which is wonderful, except that is on the intro credits and the end credits, but there's no real reason for it to be there. Like, it's just tacked on. And then the movie begins and it's like, no, this feels like, okay, it's set in the 60s, which isn't that clear actually, but it's clearly just made in the present day, set back then. So to make that clearer, like if you watch a film like Kill Bill and Tarantino does all of his 1970s style stuff, that is prominent throughout the whole movie or throughout both movies. Whereas this is like, yeah, it's on the intro credits, then it goes away, then it's on the end credits. And it's like, well, what's the point then? There's no real reason to do that unless you're going to do that throughout the whole film and stylistically throughout the whole story. But instead it just feels like an afterthought and it jars with you and it's not necessary. And then the thing with the story is it doesn't earn, like it has kind of, it unfolds and it twists and turns, but there are these big like left turns and big right turns, but it doesn't feel like it earns them. Now I have to say, to its credit, I'm tempted to see it again. It's kind of stays with you and it gets under your skin. And I read a comment that somebody left under a video about it, and this person said they took their mother to see it, and when it finished, their mother said, "Is that it?" Now, the reason I mention it is because that's exactly the feeling that I had and that others had leaving the cinema. Is that it? But there's kind of two meanings to that line, which one is that it, as in like, well, that's disappointing. But the other is that it, as in like, is there something I'm missing? Is there more to this? And it kind of compels you to want to go back to it and revisit it. But that's not necessarily a good thing. That could just be because it's actually like you want to find more in the story. Now here's the thing, I have to talk about something very important, but I would have to go into spoilers to do it. So I'm not going to go into spoilers just yet. First of all, I'll just say the performances are really excellent. Anne Hathaway is great. I love Anne Hathaway. Everything I ever see her in, even in movies that are bad, she's always great. She's very intelligent. Always comes. I actually met her once, very briefly. She wouldn't remember me, but she's just got presence and intelligence and smarts, and she's really excellent. The camera loves her, and she kind of, to be honest, the performances are really so good that she doesn't even steal the movie, but she really elevates it. Every time she's on screen, it lifts. And when she isn't, it is a little bit drab. But to talk about the real story, I have to go into spoilers. So that's an overall, which is I didn't love it. It felt unfinished. It felt like there was great stuff in there that did not capitalize on its potential. And overall, it was disappointing. But if I go into spoilers now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now we're in spoilers. This is it. The thing with the movie, which is quite interesting, is you could, and I spoke to a guy at the cinema who worked there when I came out, and he had a theory, and other people had a theory, which is that Anne Hathaway's character is the main girl's imagination. Hathaway's character doesn't exist. She is essentially what the main girl kind of wants to be. She's beautiful, standout. I mean, the main girl's pretty beautiful in her own way, but Hathaway's character is standout, beautiful, confident. She does things like punches out a guy who comes onto her, which is ridiculous in that scene. I was like, you can't punch out a grown man. I don't know if that's modern nonsense, but if it's the girl's imagination, then it kind of makes sense that she would wish that she could be that powerful. Now, in a way, it still makes the film disjointed, because I'm looking at it going, but main girl's fantasizing about having sex with boys and stuff earlier in the film and whatever, but at the same time, if you consider that Anne Hathaway's character might not be real, then a lot of the stuff that takes place in the prison at the start becomes more interesting. The way in which she's fantasizing about the boy who killed his own father, and she's looking at him through the window, and then all of a sudden one day he's not there, and it's Hathaway's character who's, interacted with him and his mother. But either way, even if Hathaway's character isn't real, even if it's like, a good example is if you watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, there's an excellent theory of that film, which is that none of the birds exist, and the whole film is actually metaphorical for insanity and mental illness. And the main woman sees the birds, but nobody else actually does. And that film is done in such a way where the average kind of entertainment popcorn goer wouldn't even think it, and therefore it's just an entertaining film. But if you bother to look at it like that, it becomes a much bigger, much more interesting film. And to me, it's there, like, you pay attention. There is, especially in the first half an hour, it's kind of set up to be very plausibly the case. Eileen might have a bit of that, but the problem with it is, even if that's the case, even if Hathaway isn't real and therefore the film has depth and layers and meaning, the entertainment factor is still not strong enough. Lady Macbeth is a much better film because it really unravels and keeps you on the edge of your seat, and you get so engrossed in it because of the way in which the characters kind of, I don't want to say they have a breakdown, but it's like incrementally believable that they start making certain decisions. Whereas in this, it's like they've gone from A to Y, but it's such a jump from A to Y that they've missed out A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. You know what I mean? It's like all of those bits aren't there. So by the time you get a sudden, like, oh, that's a surprise, it just doesn't really feel like a twist. It just feels like something that you haven't earned. And then by the end of the movie, I still hesitate from saying spoilers because I know people watch this stuff when they haven't seen the film anyway. But by the end of the movie, you are thinking, okay, let's say I take everything literally and say Anne Hathaway is real. Well, the main girl is like, come and meet me, and I'll blame it on my father. And I'm just thinking, well, Hathaway's character is never going to go and meet you. And no one's going to believe that your father did this because he's an ex-cop, and the cops will most likely side with him and believe in him. And they know that you, the girl, took your father's gun just some days earlier. So it's like they're never going to believe any of this. So when it ends there, I'm just thinking, this is the beginning of the story. This isn't the end. This is like episode 1 of a TV series. And I'm now engrossed and I want to see episode 2. But to end it there, because it does kind of feel like a sort of a 90s TV drama, really. It it doesn't feel like enough of a payoff. And I've got to say, I just thought that script needed more finishing, really. Now, it's based on a book, and I'm kind of interested to read it. I don't know if I will, but I'm interested. And I don't know, there's a lot I kind of feel like there's some more in there. I almost want to give it more time and stuff because I like this guy's previous film so much. But the cinematography, some of it was very beautiful, had a lot of good in it. But overall, even if that interpretation is correct of Hathaway, I still don't feel like it's a great film, unfortunately. It's just, it's a shame. It's a shame. It needed a bit more work to make it overall as entertaining as TV. I mean, if I simplify it, it's the last thing I'll say. TV movies, which this feels almost imitatory of, old TV movies used to have, they had to be edge of your seat because otherwise you just change a channel. So they would create something immediately, commonly like, oh, someone in the town has gone missing, Twin Peaks style. Someone in the town is missing. So you're instantly engrossed. Oh my God, who's missing? Where are they? Will they be found? And those things just keep you curious and wanting to watch it. This film didn't have that. So it keeps you in your seat because it's in the cinema, but it's sort of like, why am I still watching this? Like half an hour in, where's the thing that's like hooking me in? Hathaway's great, but she's not even always in it. So it needed a bit more. It really, really did. So yeah, it's unfortunate. And I thought it was unfortunate that this director's second film wasn't bigger, better, or at least as good as his first. Because if it had been as good as Lady Macbeth or better or whatever, then it would have been like, okay, this is a guy to watch. But having it be less good, which is harsh to say, but it is less good, makes you think, okay, he'll still be a great director and one to watch. I'm still excited for what he does next, but I'm not like, okay, every single time this is going to be great. Now it's like, will it be great? Will it not be great? Is it going to be a hit or miss? And that's a shame because I really thought immediately this is a guy who's going to be one of those top names. But maybe he will be. Maybe he'll become that way. But I just felt like this needed a polish in the writing before they went straight to screen. Anyway, it's getting closer to Christmas. Father Christmas is on his way. If you listen very closely, you can hear those bells jingling across the sky. He's coming just for you. Have you been very good? Have you been well behaved? Good. I certainly hope so, because then you'll get something very delightful for Christmas. All right. Catch you all later.